The NCAA's name, image, and likeness policy helped make national headlines on Christmas when Indiana basketball player Anthony Leal surprised his sister Lauren by paying off her student debt for Christmas.
I don't even know how much that is.
I do. It's zero now.
Like, actually?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh my gosh. I know you.
It's been a year and a half since the policy went into effect, and student athletes are cashing in. But luring and keeping elite athletes means the universities need to have NIL opportunities lined up that make a lot of money. So when Ohio State football coach Ryan Day told a group of Columbus business owners he needed $13 million in NIL money to keep his roster intact, people took notice. Pat Bean reports.
Ryan Day's pronouncement was an eye-opener. Indiana coach Tom Allen later said any coach would love to have half the money available for their athletes to collect. On a weekly radio show late in the season, Allen spoke at length about NIL, lamenting how athletes making money has impacted the balance of recruiting. He said at the start of the season, 8 Hoosier football players were making about $150,000 each.
That's how the game is played. And if you're not in the game and you're not on the train, you're going to get left out and run over.
But schools like Indiana are getting run over by the Ohio States and Alabamas of the football world. Alabama coach Nick Saban said quarterback Bryce Young earned more than $1 million in NIL endorsements before playing his first game 2 years ago. He's making 3 times that now. It's those deals that inflate what the average athlete makes, which is around $3,700, according to Open Doors, a leading NIL collective.
The concern I have is that sort of a great expectations concern, that student athletes think that they read stories like that make news, the University of Texas quarterback that gets a deal with a Lamborghini dealership, and that's the exception.
Les Morris started a name, image, and likeness course this fall in IU's media school. It teaches students about the underpinnings of the policy, how to work with NIL partners, and advise student athletes. He says a whole cottage industry has sprung up to manage the complicated world of NIL collectives.
There are now intermediary companies called collectives, which are sort of clearinghouses to receive the funds and pay the student athletes.
IU is a partner with Open Doors, which runs the Indiana Marketplace, a one-stop shop-all where Hoosier athletes can be pitched NIL opportunities, make deals, and get paid. Universities cannot fund collectives, but they can fundraise for them and market them. On Open Doors, each athlete's profile, NIL options, and contact information are listed.
IU has at least 3 or 4 people whose some of their responsibility is NIL in the athletic department. Then they work with various outside groups on marketing and also on strategic initiatives for NIL.
Social media can be a big moneymaker. Open Doors said during the first 6 months of the policy, a TikTok post could be worth around $900, an Instagram post around $500, and a tweet around $75. IU women's basketball star Grace Berger says most of the time businesses reach out to her for a product endorsement or an appearance.
If me or my teammates have an interest in a local business, we'll reach out to them. And we found that businesses are really, really open and excited about doing deals with us when we reach out to them first.
For the most part, collectives are for profit. One that's not is Bloomington-based Hoosiers for Good. It solicits donations, then compensates athletes for their time supporting more than 20 charities.
So we developed a charitable incubator program to allow student athletes who are passionate about a specific cause to submit proposals to us about specific charities they want to impact and what they're going to do to impact them. And we could enter into NIL agreements with those student athletes, help them find their voice and raise awareness for that specific cause.
This week, Hoosiers for Good announced an anonymous donor's $1 million pledge challenge had been matched, bringing in a total of $2 million new dollars available to use on athletes partnered with the organization.
We want to get as many student athletes involved and making sure we're paying fair market value. We're never going to be the organization that's bankrolling a $30 million football budget.
Berger is one of the more than 24 IU athletes partnered with Hoosiers for Good.
I mean, anytime you can, obviously, make money, that's a great part of it. But, it's kind of a double benefit in that you make money while helping the community, while getting out there in the community. And the Hoosiers for Good, something like that is something that, I would have been completely willing to do and excited about doing, even if there was no money involved.
There was no NIL money to be had when Berger was being recruited to Indiana. Now, what NIL opportunities are available and how much they're worth plays a role in recruiting.
When you can go in to an athlete's home and kind of show them where the current athletes on their team, have gotten deals from, what kind of money they're bringing in, obviously that just gives them an advantage over smaller schools or other schools that might not have that community interest or market size.
Berger is in her 5th season at IU. She says NIL money makes it easier for athletes like her to take advantage of an extra year of eligibility granted by the NCAA due to the pandemic.
You definitely see it kind of being a reason that a lot of these top athletes are staying around, obviously for the experience of playing the sport, but also to, make some money while they're doing it and really set them up for their future in life after sports.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Pat Bean.
Open Source says it expects total NIL earnings for college athletes to exceed $1 billion this year.